Most species require at least some portion of their time to be spent on a large space station, or preferably a planet. This is integral to some part of their biology. A creature born in space that grows up without being exposed to a planet's atmosphere and unique gravitational structure often grows up with unique mental disorders. Agoraphobia, the inability to understand the concept of a horizon, and inability to function without a roof are some of the basic symptoms of this mental disorder, known as spacer syndrome. This syndrome is exasperated by exposure to the deep void at a young age, or further to that, going on spacewalks at a young age. These effects are almost universal. Treatments for this unique mental disorder include slow reintroduction to planetary life, exposure via VR for regular treatment along with other processes. These treatments are long, slow, and prone to failure, and moreover take the patient out of society for several years. This is why a large portion of species mandate that every citizen spend a minimum of 1/10 of their average life cycle on a planet. This mandatory planet time is paid for by the government via moving those who can take part in to work schemes. This also provides the government with a labour force they can use to maintain critical infrastructure. This, combined with a requirement for any child to be returned to their home planet for a minimum of 1 year as part of their education, reduces the risk of spacer syndrome by a significant amount. There are outside cases where a child is born to an exploratory fleet or outer fringes mining crew, so there are still cases of it here and there. It is said to every universal condition there is an exception. In the case of spacer syndrome, the exceptions are humans. Humans who are the latest addition to our great community. Humanity, the species that only 50 years ago achieved FDL, and only 25 finally unified. Humanity has almost the exact opposite of the problem. They have what they call the space bug, or addiction to sea. Put simply, humanity thrives in the stars. A child born in the stars can spend their entire lives on one ship, the same ship, and never suffer spacer syndrome. Rather, they will work comfortably on both ground and on the ship. However, they will profess a continual desire to return to space. Not the confines of a small room like those who suffer spacer syndrome, but rather a need to be out there among the stars. These humans also display a supernatural ability to function in fluctuating gravity of starships. These traits, combined with humanity's innate curiosity, intense desire to be there doing that, and the sheer tenacity of humans has led to these void-born humans being recognized as among the most skilled and well-respected spacefarers within the galactic community. This has created a new subculture among humanity, spacers. Humans who are born on small stations, or spaceships. It is unclear where the split happens between large and small stations, but the phrase, "you don't become a spacer, you're born one," is the most explanation humans are willing to give. There have been records of humans who are born on a ship and live their entire lives aboard them. Upon their death, rather than being returned to Earth for a station for burial and incineration, they are rejected into space, either in the deep void or in a decay orbit around a star. Humans often ask one another what star they are born under, referring to the solar system they are from, Sol, Alpha Centauri, Starpoint, so on and so forth. Human spacers will say they are born under the star of a plasma engine. Human records show there are even cases of a captain buying a new ship, only to find that the engineers or other crew members came with the ship, claiming it was their home. This unique loyalty to ship above captain has resulted in some spectacular confrontations between human crews and alien captains, including an incident where an entire crew left the ship, which, when the captain attempted to take out of port, fell apart. The ship disassembled itself partway through leaving port. It was discovered that the crew owned parts of the ship, having acquired it as a group alongside the captain. They simply took that literally and removed all critical connecting components and took them as their parts of the ship. Once an agreement had been reached, the ship was reassembled within 3 days, while still in the void. These human spacers who settle down on planets find themselves more competent and often more adaptive than their ground-born companions. Humans who grew up in space find themselves more practical and capable than most others, leading them to advance more rapidly than others. Even species more adapted to the tasks in question and requirements for the advancement in status. While this effect is still under research, it is a curious observation that while almost every planet-born species suffers mental disorders when born and raised in space, humanity outperforms their planet-born counterparts. Humanity has embraced the stars faster and with more fearless curiosity than any species that has ever entered our community. They are not aggressive as some, nor are they as intelligent. However, humanity has adapted to the deep dark of space in less than 2 generations, a feat that even the oldest of us struggle with. Yet it took humans far longer than any other species to develop motorized ground and oceanic travel. They only rank in the top 100 for the age at which they developed air travel as well, yet within 50 years of discovering FTL travel, they are the second most expansive empire within the galactic community and have the largest fleet of non-military vessels. There is no human space traveler that wishes they would be on the ground. Humans took to space as if it was their natural environment. It is not a far stretch to say that humanity was born for the stars. Be they born in the void of space, in the cold steel of a station, or under the soft light of a planet's star. They are all children of the void. It is just that in some of them, the call of their home amongst the stars is greater than others. This is why humans do not suffer Spacer syndrome, because those that came before them never realized they were suffering from being planet-bound.